time for rock news on 101.1 WJRR, Orlando's rock station. Let's check in with Lynch and Taco and see which rockers are making the headlines for all the right and wrong reasons. 101.1 WJRR.
All right, hey, don't forget we've got our Tuesday ticket takeover going on right now. JRR Instagram. You have until midnight to get by there and get in on trying to scoop up Turnstile tickets. Turnstile coming to the Orlando Amp, presented by WJRR.
Going to be a good show. You could be there at 101.1 WJRR on Instagram. I see you. You got the split screen going. Am I on? Because it looks like this camera was moved. Am I there?
You're kind of off to the side, but you're
Do
there.
I need to be this side?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, somebody moved the camera. I just noticed it. I guess when
camera gremlin.
When they were working on the focus. I know it is. I see you over there. WJRR Facebook page if you want to see rock news.
Should I start with good news?
Hell yeah.
You being, the Mr. Good News Network anchor.
Uh-huh.
Vivian Campbell, guitarist for Def Leppard, sharing some big news. After a 12-year battle with cancer, the guitarist is in complete remission.
Knock on wood. That's great news.
He was first diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma in 2013. Campbell said that he'd been through the mill with all sorts of chemo and immunotherapy and combination therapies, even having a stem cell transplant with his own cells, which he said did not work.
Oh, that sucks.
Eventually, doctors told him he really only had one chance for a cure, and that was to do a donor stem cell transplant. And that's exactly what I did. We told you about that a little while back. And that last-ditch effort worked, said Campbell. He says, I don't get to know who the donor is for a couple of years, but when I find out, I'm going to buy him a beer or two or three.
First thing I was going to ask, who was the donor? I didn't know if it was another person in Def Leppard.
It was an anonymous donor, so yeah. He'll find out down the road there. Roger Daltrey was knighted over the weekend. Yes, he becomes one of their very select few rockers who have been knighted, joining the ranks of Paul McCartney, Rod Stewart, and Elton John. He was knighted for, namely for his services to charity, specifically being the patron of the Teenage Cancer Trust since 2000. So congratulations, Roger Daltrey, on being a knight.
Good job, Raj.
Back in January, when Ozzy and other members of Black Sabbath were honored in their hometown of Birmingham, England, with the Freedom of the City Award, Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy's wife, said there were plans to donate all of his awards and platinum discs and all this other memorabilia to an exhibit that is being planned for the city. Well, we now can report that the Ozzy exhibit will open at the Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery later this month. Just in time, ironically, for the big final Black Sabbath performance on July 5th, also in Birmingham. It is titled Working Class Hero, and it will showcase Ozzy's most prestigious international honors and all sorts of visuals and stuff. This also with a huge mural that is now up in the city. It's like 100 and something feet long. And it's just that town is all about, we are so proud that we're the home of Black Sabbath, and it's all going to come to a bittersweet end on July 5th.
So you said it'll be done in time for possibly the people that are going to that show?
Yeah.
To go check it out? That's a bonus.
At the museum. So that's kind of cool.
I think if you're a ticket holder for the concert, you should get in free. Work on that one.
Let me, I'll let them know, Taco. Meanwhile, Black Sabbath's 13th and first album with singer Tony Martin, that would be 1987's The Eternal Idol, will be re-released on CD and vinyl on July 25th, following its release on limited edition translucent red vinyl this past Record Store Day. So that it's the records out on the limited edition thing. You'll now be able to get the CD as well if you want that Eternal Idol featuring Tony Martin on vocals, which is... you may or may not want that. Greg Allman's son, with his third wife, Cher. That would be Elijah Blue Allman. He was rushed to the hospital Saturday morning after overdosing in California. He has been battling addiction for years, and some of his recent appearances in public, he has been in really, really bad shape.
That's not good, dude. That sucks.
Last weekend's Download Festival in England, officials there urged music fans to take their iPhones out of crash detection mode The police estimate that people rocking out in mosh pits caused an increase of 700 to 1,000 extra calls. The first year that feature was available, they're trying to avoid having that happen again. Your phone, in your pockets, and you're in the mosh pit and you're getting jostled around. It may think you've been in an accident and call police to your location. So they're like, "Hey, could you all deactivate that?" So no word on how many of them actually complied with the request from the festival organizers.
You're like one of the major bands there. Yes, please have a request. No, whatever, dude. No, get your phone off crash mode.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Could you tell me how to do that?
Bon Jovi performed their first full concert since 2022 this past weekend in Nashville. They did a 17-song set spanning their 40-year career. It was a private show, part of a weekend travel package organized by Runaway Tours. This happens more and more than we know. Not only do these bands cash in big on like corporate events, bands will slip in and out of cities to do shows like this. But then there's this one where, if you're willing to fork over a bunch of money, they'll have these private shows where there's not, 50,000 people there. They pulled off 17 songs, and from those who were there said that John Bon Jovi sounded pretty good. He's still very cautious about touring extensively. He had the vocal surgery, and he's like, the last time they were out, it really all fell apart, and some of those performances were really bad. So he's cautiously optimistic.
I don't blame him
at this point.
I don't blame him a bit.
How's this for a wackadoo tour? The B-52s and Devo announced their Cosmic De-Evolution Tour. It's only 11 dates, and it's this is great. The B-52s have been doing even though they're technically retired from touring, they have done a residency in Vegas. And Devo's been, getting out there a little bit. Now the two are teaming up. They hatched this plan, I guess, during the musical portion of the SNL 50 celebration, which they were both there, and they talked about it, and I guess they're going to go out and do 11 dates on this. The closest one to us is in Georgia. So.
That sucks. I thought you were going to say there's a Florida date. I saw B-52s back with Ziggy Marley when I was in high school.
I saw the B-52s get booed off the stage as openers for The Who here in Orlando at the then Tangerine Bowl in 1982.
Yeah, that's before Roger was knighted.
Yes, that
well
is,
before.
Yes, and I still will never forget Fred Schneider, the B-52s, going, "We're taking you to Planet Claire, whether you like it or not." And just all this barrage of garbage rained down, and they're like, "Screw this. We are out of here.
We are not taking you."
All right. And that would be your rock news for this week.